going to talk about because the refs. Ohio State football coming up on Friday. There was no game this past weekend. Other such college stuff. Not that there's a whole lot of college football to talk about. Almost every game's a blowout most of the time, it seems, at least thus far. This deep into the season, usually you see a few good games. The Texas-Oklahoma game was a good game. Unfortunately, Michigan was victorious in the game they played. Couldn't even tell you who they played. Forget now. Illinois gave them a fight. That's who it was. And then move on to the Major League Baseball. This is actually exciting to me. Even though I was going on and on about it last week. St. Louis Cardinals, one of the best franchises in all of Major League Baseball. They're the National League equivalent of the New York Yankees. And they go and they get swept by the Nationals. Nationals, quite possibly, maybe the best pitching in all of Major League Baseball, at least right now. And what is it that they say? Pitching wins championships. Not chips and dip, chips and salsa. So that's what you have there. American League, that's turning into a series. Astros up 2-1 on the Yankees. And then, of course, maybe we'll talk a little basketball. That's right. Plenty going on there. Cavs have just been terrible in their preseason. Thankfully, that 0-3 is over. I'm fairly certain they lost Tuesday night against the Celtics. There's only so much attention you can pay to preseason basketball. Well, it's not like it's preseason football. Everybody all goes nuts for that nonsense. But when it's basketball, it's more important what's happening in China in preseason basketball than, I don't know, actual basketball games. Lastly, I suppose we'll have Paul call in at some point, hopefully, assuming he bothers to or remembers to, as he is out on assignment doing Paul-type things. Let's start off with Cleveland Browns football. Oh, my. The Cleveland Browns. Your quarterback's hurt. There's been an offensive lineman trade, but it's not getting an offensive lineman. It's dealing away. Austin Corbett, that fella, he's now gone. Dealt away to, oh crap, I should have written it down. But such an insignificant trade at the moment. All these people pontificating, oh, what round draft pick did we get for him? Hey, yeah, who this is, watch him become an all-pro. Like the Chiefs have done with like 4 different ex-Browns offensive linemen playing key parts in the Chiefs offensive line. That wasn't where we dealt them to, right? Yeah. So that was a big deal on Twitter for some reason. And all anyone would go on about was if the Cleveland Browns, there was the Rams. The Rams. Is there off? Thank you, Dave Hughes. Dave Hughes chiming in. Good guy. He paints, not like artistic-y, but like your home. And we're eventually going to figure out a way to do that as a live read so you can get some business. But I want to write it out correctly and do all that, not just say, well, Dave Hughes, former associate producer Dave. That was his bit on the show at the old station that fired me. Let's see here. So, let's see. Just don't understand the unconditional picks Dorsey keeps getting. Well, I don't know. Is that the actual definition of? Is it that it's unconditional, or it's just that? I think it's just that we don't know yet. Is they keep that part secret for whatever reason. And it's like, oh, it's a 4th rounder. All right, just tell us it's a 4th rounder. No one cares. Let's see. Otherwise, with the Browns, yeah, the prediction thing got to me. The fact that Paul had it exactly right, spot on the nose. And the fact that he picks 32. It's a difficult amount of points to score in a football game. Seahawks are masters at scoring weird amounts of points. You watch it, I think John Boyce, however you pronounce it. Yeah, they use the words undisclosed. Right. Well, that's because they don't know yet. They'll eventually know. It's secrets. There's always got to be secrets. We've been dealing with this in the NFL. Belichick was the guy who probably made it most popular. And just keep stuff secretive. I don't want to tell you anything, so I won't tell you anything. Just focus on the next game. The next game. And then every head coach and or GM since Belichick has done that. Like, I'm not telling you, it's a secret. You can find out some other time in weeks or when the draft happens. I don't care to tell you. Like, every Browns coach has done that. Kitchens is falling into that a little bit. I just need to call better plays. Well, there's more than just that. Maybe it is just that. Just call better plays, Freddie. 6 weeks of here and you say, I need to call better plays. There's more to it than that. We need to execute the crappy plays you call. Or maybe that's why we're executing them and they're turning out just as crappy as they were supposed to be. Is that right? I don't know. I don't think that's it. I don't think the game plan in that Niners game was for Callaway to have the ball bounce off of his hands. They weren't doing a tip drill. Chubbs has been really good. I mean, quite frankly, I don't know why the concern has been on the offensive line. They've done an excellent job in run blocking. Chubbs ran for over 100 yards yet again. He's well on pace for over 1,000 yards. The only thing I speculate with that is Hunt comes back in a couple of weeks. His 8-week injury, because they were sure to put him on, call it an injury after he got suspended and what have you. Thankfully, our kicker's been playing well. We don't have to bring in Hunt to do that. So watch some really old film. Go back and watch old film. If you want to see how much the NFL is the same now as it ever was, go back, watch old film. You got Lou Groza, an offensive lineman, kicking field goals. And then Leroy Kelly was your punter, like in 1967. Great clips from this game in 67 between the Browns and the Lions. Some guy, a big hulking dude for the Lions. He could have been a D lineman or a linebacker. Was their kicker. And that wasn't even a position. You just got, high school still does it this way. You're like, oh, you're the best athlete on the team. Go out there and kick something. Anyway. Well, you got to be careful, though, as Kay Hunt was the best athlete on the Chiefs, and he was going around kicking people. Yeah, defenses are playing the receivers really physically here early on in the early going. They know that that's what they can do, Dave. And it's the current NFL. You only have 5 yards to get chippy with a guy. You're going to try to do that. And then if you can get away with doing it in the next 10 to 15 yards, you're going to try to do that too. Delicious. So thankfully the Browns have a bye coming up. Normally I don't talk about the upcoming game until Friday, kind of combining it with Thursday, but there's no upcoming game. Not until you face the Patriots in about a week and a half. I mentioned Belichick earlier. The Patriots have a Monday nighter against the Jets. Who's even going to care? So the Browns could be headed into New England facing a 7-0 football club. While they're sitting at 2-4, they haven't won a game at home yet. I'm sure the season ticket holders love. I know I had season tickets for a couple of seasons. I loved going to football games to watch my home team lose. It was before Manziel. I want to say 2013 and 2014. Those were the 2 seasons I had them. It was the fact that the Browns went and drafted Manziel. Well, maybe it was 12 and 13, 2012 and 2013. The fact that the Browns went and drafted Manziel was why I quit having season tickets. That's a big factor in it. Gave up on that pretty quick. So that now that they're good again, already good again, they're 2-4. I want to get around the NFL in a few minutes here. We get into the next segment, but like how seriously hurt do you think Mayfield is? You think Mayfield will be out for a little while? I think he'll be back in there playing again against the Patriots. Dave, again, if ever play isn't perfect, the Browns fans start to be disinterested. Yeah, they're expecting us to score 50 points a game. That was legit stuff coming through. I would give other people a hard time at the old station. It was like they legitimately thought Baker would throw for 6,000 yards this season, 60 touchdown passes. I mean, literally. Let's see. It's hard to play at home with that. Yeah, the home fans. This is not to be dismissive of Cleveland sports fan, of good Browns fan, of good Indians fan. Even there's good Cavs fans out there too. Far too often you get the bandwagoners. I'll say it. Some of you are. There are some. It happens, but it's not Madden. It's not a video game. It's not. Hey, Joshua Rivera, what's up? Go Nationals. Bryce Harper is livid. How awesome is that? I can't wait to get into that later. The guy goes and leaves. Maybe it was the best thing for that franchise. Goes and leaves the Southern Montreal Expos, and they go and they make the World Series the year after the dude leaves. We'll get more into that later. That'll be fun. If you want to call the show, 216-487-1507. It seems as though we have just as good a time in the live chat. Be sure to get in there as much as you want here on the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. It's the Warren Brothers Sports Show, episode 3, second one without Paul Warren, because he's just excellent and doesn't even bother to show up to work. No, he's out on assignment yet again. He's got another thing at 3 because he's busy. He's a busy man. He's sure to tell me that all the time. It's just so busy, So thanks for that, Paul. I mean, you're half of the show. You're not even watching. It doesn't even matter. Don't even watch the own show he's on. Listen to however it is you prefer. That is ultimately if I'm just background noise while you're painting, or if Josh is listening. We know what you're doing, Josh. You're growing trees. Anyway, no, that's a joke, I guess. Josh will co-host. Yeah, stop on by. People won't believe we're brothers, though. I don't look that Puerto Rican, and you almost look Arabic. That beard, guy's beard is enormous. By which I mean his fake wife, because he's gay. Beard. Remember when that was a term? Are we still allowed to say that one anymore? It's 2019. I'm not sure. Well, hey, what we are going to do right here now, though, is we are going to head on over to traffic and weather, which I'm just going to. You are a special guest, Josh. Emphasis on special. So since I am the only guy here, I got to do traffic and weather too. We call it the Warren Brothers Traffic and Weather Center desk, which is right there. It's another desk. Paul sits there. Today it's just the Tasmanian Devil. It's not even the actual one. It's the one from the Tiny Toon show, I think. So Paul does that. Wow, that's way too high. All right, turn that down. I want to make sure you can hear the calls if any come in, but I'll be doing that. So anyway, with traffic and weather is me. Still, the traffic, everything is fine here on Henninger Road. It's like a half dozen cars parked just along the street because that's just what people do on this street. But it's a dead end street and traffic, there isn't it. In the weather, however, it is currently 51 degrees outside and cloudy. Probably expect it to be better later on today. It'll get a little bit warmer, reach a high of 54. However, one thing that you can be sure of is that after the sun sets, it will be dark outside. Over to the news. I'll give you the news now. And that's here at the Old Brooklyn News Desk, which is the same as, this desk. We've got to give each desk a different name. And hey, if you want to sponsor the desk, that's a thing too. Listen to Real Radio. You'll notice it. It's a weird thing. What the hell's going on in the news? A provocative news show that you can find on your streaming devices. I caught the first episode of it yesterday. It is called Lesbian Divorce Attorney. I had the inclination on the incorrect word. I thought it was Lesbian Divorce Attorney, and it would be a great show. Turns out It's about a lesbian divorce attorney. The lead's a guy even, and he's a lawyer, and he helps in lesbian divorces. Watch the pilot episode, and the defendant, because he's on the defendant's side. She got half of the other woman's stuff, which was great, but then she also lost half of her own stuff because it's a lesbian divorce. Another piece of news out in Kent State: fireworks discrimination in the Temple, Maine scrimmage. There's so many things coming out about this report. The news happened about a month ago. Washington Post still reporting on it. And when you read it, gender is the least important thing in the entire thing. It happened at Kent State University. There were fireworks scheduled for a whole big weekend full of family events. And there was a scrimmage between Maine and Temple. Both have nothing to do with Kent State. They're just playing a scrimmage there. A scrimmage that after one overtime period in field hockey, big time sport there, it was a 0-0 tie. They were whipped. So it's discrimination. If there was a men's game that was going on like that, if there were just random dogs running in the field back and forth, if you just had, I don't know, boys and girls who were all 8 years old, both genders represented out there, it would have still been called because it was pointless. It was a scrimmage tied at 0 after an overtime between Maine and Temple at Kent State University. Yeah, fireworks are more important than that. And, of course, there have been numerous break-ins in the Avon Lake area. The number of grocery stores have been broken into over the weekend. The only inventory being stolen are pudding cups and Tiger Beat magazines. So go figure on that. So kind of go to the NFL in the second segment. That's what I do. And it ties in with Browns and all of those things. And the problem with what we're facing right now. Oh my. I mean, so the Cleveland Browns are technically tied for second place in the AFC North. That's where it sits. Technically they're slightly ahead of the other guys, the other group, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think a 0.4 point against thing. Well, what happens with the Cleveland Browns now is you go into the bye week. The Ravens have been beating teams. They're 4-2, handily in first place. Another just spectacular victory, even though they just beat the Bengals 24-17. They didn't even play all that great, I don't think. They're starting to get figured out, and their defense looks okay. And no need to worry about the Bengals. The Bengals are the only team in other than the Dolphins in the NFL who have yet to win a game. Redskins won one, and who's the other team that hasn't won yet? Another AFC team. So you're looking at a division. It's really not very interesting. Not a whole lot going on in it. The Steelers certainly aren't conceding their season, though. Impressive the fact that they won a ball game against the LA Chargers, of all teams. Defeated the Chargers. Chargers were supposed to be a good team this year. I think Paul had them going to the Super Bowl or something. So much for that. They're limping out to a 2-4 start. So that's a problem with it. That's a Chargers problem. That's on them. Other around the NFL stuff, Lions. Oh man, poor Lions. I mean, we complain about refs up here. And it's Cleveland Browns. It's always easier to blame the refs than either team or our team, or just claim that another team played better. And there are bad calls. Oh my, do the refs make bad calls every single week. Especially that weird whole whatever that was called against Landry, where he got hit and the call was on him somehow. Some bad call had the hands of the face, and the Lions defender's hands went past the Packers player's face, but it was a penalty. It was so bad. Barry Sanders started a Twitter account just to complain about it. That's how bad it was. So the Lions should have won, quite frankly. They played a better game than the Packers did because of a call. It's always more than just one call. Packers got back into that game to win it. And it's the Lions being the same old Lions, so there's that too. The Lions go from literally within a matter of seconds looking like they're going to be in first place in their division to being in last place. Who pulled back on another block later in the game? They got him hit. Oh, okay. So it's basically like tit for tat. Dave Hughes saying in the chat that pertaining to Landry in the Browns game. And so the Lions could have been 3-2-1. Hey, we've got a phone call. I bet you it's Paul. Let's see what's happening. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
Not much.
No, I'm hoping they can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I mean, we're not doing that bit. The live chat, if you can hear Paul. I hear you all right, actually. So what's that? Paul,
Well,
what? What happened? Paul! Paul! Are you talking? I'm here. Can you hear me? Paul! Paul? You got to talk if you're going to be on the phone. Paul. Seriously. I mean, you're still on the line. Paul. Yeah, he is gone. Damn, Paul. I don't know. I tried. Well, that was great. I bet you maybe he'll call back. I don't know. At one point he said, "Where did everybody go?" So I don't know if he was doing a bit where it's like everybody, but no one was there. He was the only one waiting for the parade. I can't tell with him. Who's preparing for the zombie apocalypse? I don't know what that means, Josh. Well, Paul May. Hey, there's a phone call. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Paul.
Yes, I don't know what happened.
Okay. Well, I don't know what happened either. You were still on the line. What?
I didn't hear you for 1 minute, and well, I'm at the first Saturday stage.
Oh, so you're.
I just threw everything in Lake Erie.
Wait, you threw. Wait, what do you mean you threw everything in Lake Erie? What did you throw in Lake Erie?
The dummy and the chair and my area thing, I'm going to say. You know, where I'm going to have a parade.
Uh-huh.
There won't be a parade.
You I mean, this is what, huh?
The Browns will be in the Super Bowl when Weird Al Yankovic's in the Rock Hall.
The Browns will be in the Super Bowl when Weird Al Yankovic is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Okay, then. Hey, you guys let me know in the chat if you hear Paul better. I tried something out. I don't know. But all right. So what? No, it's that you asking, can you hear me now won't do any good because the live chat's like a minute slower. Josh is going on about somebody winning with a third string quarterback. I don't remember which team that is. Was that the Steelers? Anyway, Paul. What?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So wait, a dummy. What did you have? You had a mannequin sitting in your place so people would think it was a human being? Yeah.
I just threw it in the lake.
So you threw it in the lake. Well, Dave's psyched that you were back down at the stadium. Dave, Paul's not fighting with anybody down there anymore. There's no one there. It was just Paul, and he took all of his belongings and he threw. How far of a walk from where you were stationed at the corner of Lou Groza Boulevard and whatever the other street is to the lake? It's not close. I mean, that must have taken you hours to do.
Minutes.
It took you minutes to do? All of that stuff. You had a lawn chair and a mannequin and a mini fridge. And there were, to my knowledge, you said you had coolers and beers. Oh, so many beers and so many snacks. You were able to haul all of that stuff from not all of it. I thought you said you threw everything into the lake.
No, just the chair.
You threw just the chair into the lake.
And the mannequin.
And the mannequin. So you were able to haul the chair and the mannequin, however far it is. There are homeless people there, but they don't help. Probably, yeah. They probably drank all his beer. Probably wasn't any beer left by the time Paul got there. He said he had stored up with enough beer. See, Josh can't hear you though. So Dave hears you better. Josh can't hear you. Oh well. You got to keep the beer. You should have locked up the beer. People were just taking the beer. He said he had a full 10-month supply as he got there in April. As soon as it was, I mean, I wonder if those those are all still up there on Facebook, or if people have canceled those events, the Browns Super Bowl parades they have on the Facebooks. So Paul believes there isn't going to be a Super Bowl parade. I don't know why he was so keen on waiting down there for one, and then gave up just weeks into the season and threw a mannequin and what was it? The lawn chair into Lake Erie. So that's what you did.
Yes.
What's the point of that?
Well, because they're the clowns. They always have been. They always will be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like that Jay-Z song. Yes, we got 31 teams and the Browns ain't one. Yes, I'm aware, Paul. I gotcha. So what are you gonna do from now on when you go out on? You're not here more often than you're here. If you're always gonna go out on these assignments, what are you gonna do next then?
Something might happen. I don't know.
Something might happen. I mean, you could cover the Cavaliers, or hey, maybe they'll have a parade, an 0-82 parade. What?
I don't know. Maybe I'll go to Columbus.
Well, okay, you just trek down to Columbus every time you're not here in person?
I might do that.
Well, okay then. Well, you got anything else for me?
No.
So that was your report then?
Yep.
Well, okay then. Well, all right, Paul. Well, thanks for calling in and giving us those random thoughts, I suppose. So you gonna sign off, hang up? What are you gonna do?
Yes, I'm gonna sign
off. Okay then. Well, then you sign off. You say this has been Paul Warren, blah 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 blah.
This is Paul Warren signing off. Having less fun than a human being can ever have.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye. I don't know if I guess I hung up on him. Who's hanging? Did you hang up? All right, that ended. Fine. Very well. All right. So no, that's I am getting the comments late. It's not that I get them late. It's so I do the show live. It of course reaches you a minute later, I would assume, Joshua. So you're hearing this now, but it's 2 minutes ago, because then you type in a comment and it's another minute and then I get it or whatever. It's the Steelers' third. Who is even the Steelers' third straight quarterback? But yeah, zombie apocalypse. 15 to 25 seconds delayed, says Dave. See, so it's just things. There's satellites or something there. You want to start getting into that nonsense? Jeez, like it just leaves your fingertips, Joshua, and it's right there for me to see. No, it's science or something stupid. Whatever you want to say. Whatever. I'm terrible at time clock management because I try to do it kind of like it's an actual radio show. That's why I give you traffic and weather updates and the news. Zombie apocalypse. It's not I mean, I don't know what it is, but I have it written the way that I do. It's an old running gag. Since nobody else watched the other show, they don't know what I'm talking about. It's all just pudding cups and Tiger Beat magazines. Josh isn't going to get the Tiger Beat magazine thing anyway. Dave might not either. Should say what should go with what were those Disney magazines? Those little ones. Basically stuff for kids. I should have just said handfuls of candy to coax children with. That would have been more spot on for the joke. But it's real news. It is. It's just as real as, well, I mean, the Kent State thing actually happened. Let's see here. So, let's swing on over. Oh, wait. Usually I play music first. So I got to do that part. That's how you know the segment's ending. I like this song. It's a good song for commercials and traffic, news, and weather. All coming to you together on the 15. Oh, no. Oh, it's at the 20s. Oh, so I'm doing it early. I screwed up. I didn't even give you the bottom of the hour. Top of the bottom of the hour. This is WBBN, the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. The views and opinions of this program don't express those of ownership, even though I am ownership. Ownership is vehemently against cronyism and nepotism, even though everybody who watches are my friends, and everyone who calls in or co-hosts with me is relatives. Now back over to myself. Not the only one that has a show on the network. On the traffic and weather. Traffic. Everything is fine here on Henderson Road. It's a dead-end street here in Old Brooklyn, Ohio. There are like 15 houses on the street. And the only worry is like parked cars. Something we have to deal with. The music does sound so loud. That might have been what made us able to hear Paul's phone call. The music's better now, right? See, Dave? You could have learned how to do the board. Could have just shown you that. Got the ear for it. Delvin Hodges, the Steelers. And that's really scraping the bottom of the barrel. They were still able to beat the Chargers. How about that? Well, anyway. In the weather, current high is 51 degrees. Cloudy here in Old Brooklyn, Ohio. And high of 54 later on in the day. You can guarantee that later, after the sun sets, it'll be dark. Go on over here to the songs for next time. It's the coming back music. It's you know where I screwed up? It's because I don't have actual commercials. I didn't say any commercials. They only got a month left at that school, the other station I worked at. You still don't know how to run a board. That's kind of part of the thing that you wanted to do with the whole band thing. You can learn this. If I can screw this up as badly as I do, is that me overmodulating? See, I mean, if you're listening to this and I like ping out at certain points, like if I just did that and I ping and like it reverbed or something, shows I don't know what I'm doing either. And I had the best show on that network. No, I'm kidding. Hey, in the news, lesbian divorce attorney. Make sure you watch this program. You can find it on your local streaming devices, but don't be confused by the name. It's Not lesbian divorce attorney, it's lesbian divorce attorney. It stars a guy even. I expected to star a woman. Apparently he's a lesbian divorce attorney with lesbian marriages on the rise. Apparently it's far more lesbian divorces. Other news, Kent State fireworks means discrimination against women. Temple, Maine scrimmage in field hockey, women's field hockey. And the problem is that the game got called so they could put on a fireworks show. A 0-0 single overtime tie. Because maybe somebody was going to score in the second overtime or sudden death. A shootout. They eventually have a shootout. If I recall field hockey correctly enough, it's not like it's soccer. It's not even like it's NHL hockey where you see 0-0s. There's a lot of 9-7 scores in those. It's a little more like lacrosse. Last bit of news. Numerous break-ins in the Avon Lake area. Very close to where Bill Cosby and Jerry Sandusky crashed their vehicle. These grocery stores were robbed over the weekend. The only inventory missing are pudding cups and Tiger Beat magazines. Apparently that's a good joke in the 70s. Wasn't a shootout. No, not a shootout at Kent State. That's terrible, Dave. Don't get me fired from YouTube now. See, it's not when I say, you say things. It's former associate producer Dave. So, Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network, you're watching the Warren Brothers Sports Show right now. I guess the little commercial I would do at this moment in time is check out our Patreon.com page. That's right, Patreon.com. You head there. This is the only commercial we have, so it's the one you're going to hear. Patreon.com. We only have the one level, quite frankly, and it's a $5 a month thing. You see my everyday tweets. Not tweets. The other thing. I type every day in there. Articles. They're not long enough to be articles. Musings, I suppose. I don't know. So anyway, I can't answer texts right now because I'm doing the show. But there are people asking me when the show is on. Well, so anyway, you're the reason I got in trouble. Actually, though, to be perfectly frank, Dave, you made the show better too, though. The dynamics you, Paul, and I had is even better than what former producer extraordinary Gary brought. Except he couldn't run a board either. Nobody could run a board. He pretended to be able to run a board, but I think I did just as good as he did. So your dumb shit that you added actually it made it a slightly better show. That's why I miss Paul though, is I'm 40 minutes in. I want to be talking to him, but instead he gives me this stuffed animal to put on while he's out on assignment, claiming he's throwing stuff into Lake Erie. And Dave thought it was a good show. Yeah. Hopefully people think this is a good show too. And y'all can come by too. I won't give the address over the air. We're around Henninger Road, so it's not hard to find. I mean, I'm debating on whether I just do this on camera if I'll get kicked off for that. Gotta just tweak the angle. That way it looks like Paul's over there. Even though it's the Tasmanian Devil. Now I'm gonna go into college stuff. I don't have any college stuff to do. We might just go long on NFL and the Browns. We weren't stuck up. Just talk about sports, guys. We had fun. And I mean, you listen to the. Oh, they literally had the two guys who are on afternoons. Fat Meter. What was his name? And not Bing Cherry, but the other guy, Goldie Hawn. And so they flat out, they did a talk at this school that Dave and I went to. Have fun with it. Talk about how many pairs of underwear you take on a trip and how many times you shower a day. Like just whatever stuff. Whatever. mean, you hear it's the same station. It's on the AM dial, somewhere between 8:49 and 8:51. These guys, you hear the nonsense they talk about. Okay, well, I mean, we're not copying it, but we had that feel to our show already there on the Warren Brothers Sports Show on that All Craps network. And yeah, so you have fun with it, and people laughed, had a good time. They listened to it in the hallways. Oh, no, one person didn't like it. I'm offended. I'm a snowflake, and I'm gonna melt. Need my safe space. Here's some of the crap we say. You would like them, Dave. I used to like them a lot too. I still kind of listen to them sometimes. I don't like Fat Meador. Not that I dislike him, and even meeting him in person, he's a real nice guy down there and stuff. I guess he's an instructor at nights even. But there's just something about him when I hear him on the radio, and I'm like, you and your white privilege. I can't stand you. I don't know. I mean that as sincerely as I can. Never sincere. Ohio State has a game coming up against Northwestern on Friday night. A rare Friday night game. What do you mean? On the morning show, on that AM station, it was all just trade Kevin Love or not. That's what I can't stand. I mean, I'm going to get into Cavs talk. Might even do some of it now because this segment gets difficult to do without Paul here because it's an in-betweener. You got college football coming on, but we had a bye week last week. That's why NFL stuff. See, at least with NFL, people can make stuff up. Apparently, you can do that with NBA too. Always dumb topics. Like, you go with the Kevin Love stuff. Why trade him? I mean, constantly with the Kevin Love thing. Is it just the money stuff? Is it? I mean, yeah, he's got some injury problems, but he's the leader on your team. I mean, it's the big reason why you keep him and Tristan around is because it's not like you just won all those games only because of LeBron James. Those guys were integral parts to it. I will say, did LeBron and Kyrie have a lot to do with it? Sure. But we also saw you could easily make the finals in the East without Kyrie, but you can't necessarily do that with him. In fact, even Boston is learning they were probably a better team without Kyrie than they were with him. That's why he's in Brooklyn now. Yeah, this is the thing I found strange with Kyrie Irving. Is that blogging is what it is, Joshua. I think you wait too long to hit the send button. I blame your phone. Anyway, I blog on the Patreon thing. So if you want, let's see, Dorsey is about to do an interview bi-week update with the media at 1 today. Well, I don't care. Go ahead and listen to it then. I'm not going to follow up on it. I don't care. I'll find that stuff out later. I'm not here to give you breaking news. Unless you give me the breaking news, then I'll break the news to everybody else. You can do that. I see Dorsey. I've got a buddy named Dorsey. I was texting him yesterday to listen to the show, but he's, some guy. Hey, Dad's joining me. Let me unmute his mic. So, yeah, I mean, I would keep Love too. Even if his uncle is crappy member of the Beach Boys. The crappy member of the Beach Boys. Mike Love. So, hey, Dad, what's up?
Well, I just wonder if sales of LeBron James jerseys have gone up now that people want to burn them.
Yeah, so it's a funny thing. Is in if you're familiar with the Beatles back in the 60s, John Lennon had the audacity to say that the Beatles were bigger than Jesus, and now LeBron James is calling out the Houston Rockets general manager because the Houston Rockets general manager said, I'm pro Hong Kong and these rebels and freedom fighters. Hey, maybe that's a bad thing that communist China is doing, where they're basically treating people like slaves. And then you get this black guy, LeBron James, who who has compared NBA owners to Dave says hey, by the way.
Hey.
Dad says hey. So NBA owners to slave masters. However, China.
Why does that come in? Oh, I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you waved. My big head was in the way. Well, let's see, Joshua. Who do you have as your top Heisman candidates? Yeah, we'll get into. All right, that's speculation. College football. That's dumb. We'll bring that up later. I already shelved your baseball talk, even though I want to get into that too. I'll shelve your college football talk too. No, so people were buying Beatles albums just to burn them. I wonder if LeBron James is now at the top of jersey sales just so people can burn them. People are that mad about it because he said something pretty dumb. I mean, he's going out and saying that the gentleman who is the GM of the Houston Rockets obviously didn't do his research, doesn't know about what's going on the other side of the world. But LeBron James does with his high school diploma that he only got because he was really good at basketball. They didn't have to go to college. Not saying that you're a genius if you went to college. You can be plenty smart without finishing college or without even going. Two of my listeners, some very good friends of mine. Plenty of people are smart even though they didn't go to college. LeBron James is not one of the people who's smart even though he didn't go to college. In fact, his super liberal agenda just to have it makes him seem dumber. And that's not to get political. I've got my First Amendment rights too, LeBron James, like you said, and I don't care what the ramifications are. Because at the end of the day, you just come across as sounding like a pompous idiot because you're claiming other people don't know what they're talking about. Sorry, Bronny, you don't really know what you're talking about either. Show's telephone number is 216-487-1507. 216-487-1507. Why, are you going to call Josh? I've got you in the chat. I just get to pick and choose which things I'm going to talk about. I appreciate you helping me with topics, but the LeBron thing was something I was going to bring up. So apparently he's a communist. No, I'm not going to go so far as to say LeBron James is a communist. LeBron James is a communist. So, I don't know. I would be intrigued to see those numbers. Yeah.
Well, like with anything else, the truth has become relative to the person presenting it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and everybody said, well, that's my truth. And well, that's your truth. Well, whose truth is what? I mean.
When insanity becomes normal, because insanity is the thing that's constantly happening, so that is the new normal. Well, we're just throwing away what normal always was. And should still be, because it is what is normal.
You can take tons of facts and figures and spew them out and twist them in ways to make them sound like, they support your beliefs.
And that's true too.
And that's common.
And I mean, that's the hard thing about it is once you get to facts, and facts are supposed to be the thing that makes the difference. But people take the actual facts and twist them to say whatever they want. I mean, China wouldn't be that awful. They can't be that awful. They put all that money into the NBA or however all that works.
Right.
So obviously it's not because China's terrible. It's because the GM of the Houston Rockets is narrow-minded and doesn't like slavery in China.
What about the Nationals?
Yeah, get into baseball talk?
Yeah.
I think it's amazing what they did. Because the St. Louis Cardinals are no slouches.
Right.
They were able to beat the Braves in that 5-game series. I think that took a lot out of them. I mean, the Nationals defeating the Dodgers was impressive in the first right, but being able to sweep the St. Louis Cardinals, that says something. The Cardinals have one of the better teams in Major League Baseball, and this is year in, year out. It's not to just to continue to go on about what I was stating yesterday, last week, where I said the St. Louis Cardinals are quite possibly one of the best run franchises in Major League Baseball. They're constantly talented. Yeah, historically. And I mean it's they did it again this year. All they had to do was really add one guy, Paul Goldschmidt. He plays first base for them now. He had an excellent season. They've had Yadier Molina this whole time. That guy's great. Young players like DeJong and Wong and other fellas. I don't remember them all, and they probably have the best pitching in the National League Central. That's why they were able to come back and win that division. They weren't even in first place in the last few weeks of the year. However, it was all for naught because, the Nationals just creamed them. They scored 7 runs in the first inning yesterday afternoon. I believe it was the afternoon. Maybe it was last night. And didn't score another run all game. Nationals just blew them out. You're able to keep the lead. Pitching was good enough. Won the game 7-4. So, Washington Nationals swept the Cardinals, and they're right on into the World Series. They made the World. This was the last team that the Indians played in the regular season, mind you. All you Indians fans bemoaning the fact, the Nationals swept us. Oh, I didn't think they were that good. Good enough to be in the World Series. That wasn't exactly the thing that knocked the Indians out of the playoffs. Out of the playoff race, if you will. It wasn't exactly it. It happened to themselves and not being able to win at other key points in the season. Still won 93 games. But the Nationals were the team that ended it. And they're showing why it happened. Well, hey, we got a phone call. Let's see who it is. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Are you doing a bit now too, Josh? Is this Josh?
I am.
It sounded like you.
The Cardinals are out.
Yeah, the Cardinals are out.
You think Marcell Ozuna signs with the Indians?
Oh, because the kid's a free agent. So you're going right into off-season talk? We still got a World Series to watch. We still got a Yankees Astros series.
Well, off-season started for the Indians and the Cardinals.
You're not entirely wrong, but there's stuff that they can't do anything about. Azuna's their third baseman, right?
He's the outfielder.
Oh, he's playing outfield for them? I thought he was one of those guys who could play like 7 different positions.
Yeah, no, because I've seen articles saying that Cleveland would be a good landing spot for him.
I think I've seen articles like that too. They were talking about that. I don't know. Was it around the trade deadline? And then again, they're always writing those speculatory articles. There are people like you who just like to talk about all the stuff that's around the sport.
Hey, so I say we just give up on the Odell train. We trade him in a first-round pick for an offensive lineman. What do you think?
Oh, you've heard all that stuff lately too? The Odell stuff? Let's see. It's a first-round pick and an O-lineman. And what else? Are we getting a linebacker? Because that's something we actually could use.
Probably so.
Oh, just probably. We're not trading Odell. What?
It was fun calling. I was a first-time caller, wanted just to get my feet wet,
Every single person is going to be a first-time caller for a while. Any person that was only Paul's second time calling. It's the 3rd episode. Everybody's a first-time caller. What?
Oh, that's funny.
Well, it is funny because I said it because I'm funny. What?
I'm going to hang up now.
Well, you're supposed to say I'm going to hang up and listen. You're not supposed to say that. That's just a thing people say. What?
What, that I'm going to hang up?
Well, no, it's a radio thing. Usually you get the jerk who calls in and he's all like, asks a stupid question or two or makes some dumb comments like you did and then just goes and says, well, I'm going to hang up and listen. Listen to what? Me yell at you? All right, then.
Talk some shit about me.
That's what I'm going to do. And the nice thing is on this station, you can swear.
Okay.
All right. If you want, you stick in the live chat because I've appreciated that so far. So thank you for calling. All right. Smoke one for me. Bye. Anyway, Joshua Rivera there. Thanks for calling in. Super fan of the show. Got a huge beard. Just enormous. Like, this one time, he showed up to work, and even though he's got virtually no hair on his head, he wraps his hair in a towel. Because he does that to dry his hair. He forgot that it was on, and he showed up to work. We had to evacuate the building. Scared people. He's Puerto Rican. It's fine. Not the other thing. Racism. All right. So that is xenophobia. Doesn't matter. Want to remind everybody that this is the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network, WBBN. The views and opinions of this program don't necessarily express those of ownership. Even though I am ownership, and these are my views and opinions. I make most of them up. Who cares? Ownership is vehemently against cronyism and nepotism. Henceforth, why I only have friends call in and family members on the program. So, that being said, let's head on over to the Warren Brothers Traffic and Weather Center. Should have been playing this already, but I screwed that up. No, just play the thing. There you go. That's your outro music. That's what it's called in the industry, which is what I'm pretending this is, and it obviously isn't. At this point, it's really just insanity. Is it insanity? No, because what I do is the same thing over and over again, knowing that the same results will occur. That's a different kind of insanity, what I figure that is. So weather right now, currently 51 degrees and cloudy in Old Brooklyn. However, after the sun goes down, you can expect darkness. In regards to traffic, everything is fine here on Henninger Road because, well, it's a little dead-end street here in Old Brooklyn. There's like a half dozen cars parked on the street, so good luck navigating your way up and down the street if you were driving on it. I can tell you for sure that here, the Old Brooklyn News Desk, check out a TV show that you can live stream on your live streaming devices. The Lesbian Divorce Attorney. I had misunderstood. I thought it was the Lesbian Divorce Attorney. The lead's not even a female. It's a guy who's a lesbian divorce attorney. And he goes, and he, with lesbian marriages falling apart all over the nation, he's going and doing lesbian divorces. He's a lawyer. And in the pilot episode, the defendant won and got half of the plaintiff's stuff. However, the plaintiff then in turn got half of the defendant's stuff. They're both wives. Anyway, Kent State fireworks discrimination because they were women. But they were Temple and Maine. It was a scrimmage and a 0-0 tie when the fireworks show went on. So, I mean, if anybody else is playing, you should stop that game. Because it's all part of some big family fun weekend at Kent State. What's more family fun? A 0-0 field hockey game tie between Temple and Maine or fireworks? I think they did the right thing. Lastly, there have been numerous break-ins at Avon Lake area grocery stores over this past weekend. The only items being stolen have been pudding cups and Tiger Beat magazines. I get the feeling that's too obscure of a news story. Was thinking of is see I've got a couple commercials I've got to write for this place. A buddy of mine, he sells houses. Jay Rodriguez, give you his number and an incentive for you to go to him if you got to buy or sell your house. And then the other one being Dave Hughes. He paints interiors, exteriors. And he'll paint a bicycle if you want him to. Probably not. And that's why I got to write the commercial. So I don't know if he wants to go around painting bicycles. So he gets all these phone calls like, yeah, here's you'll paint my bicycle. And got to figure out some incentive. I got to talk to him about that. What's he willing to give? And then if you say, hey, I heard it on the Warren Brothers Sports Show, it helps me out. Because you're supposed to say, hey, I heard it on the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. You just say the word Warren even. Say Mark. Whatever it is you say, and then if we figure that out, then you get something, I get something, he gets something. We all work together in what is democracy. capitalism, I should say. So, anyway, one commercial I do have is Patreon. You go to patreon.com, Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network, sign up, you'll get my undying love and devotion. That's actually what it says in the thing. And we're not like some of these fancy pants places. All these tiers, be a gold member, silver member, bronze member, be a member, get your thing. Well, $50 a month, $5 a month. Simple. Easy. You help me be able to do this. You can enjoy this. And we're all happy. Then I can pay Paul even, and he'll show up or some nonsense. If I offer him money, I bet he'd be here. Oh, $5, I'll do that. But old bits like on Bob Newhart. The second one, third one. I don't know. He had so many different shows. The one called Newhart. He had Larry, Daryl, and Daryl do anything for $1. They didn't explore that premise quite the way that I'm glad that they shouldn't have. All right, so we are back because of us cramming a bunch of different things into one segment. It's kind of left me. It's why I extrapolate and elongate things, so I could have 5 segments and then come back and wrap it all up at the end. I can't put a bow on it anymore. Too many other people were doing that. Now all you jerks are quiet in the chat. And you're disappearing and you're going away. Put everything in the first hour. So now I got to figure out what to do in the second hour. Where's the next song that I play? There it is. So that's ready for when I do that. So thanks for calling, Josh. Thanks for calling, Paul. Definitely cases in which it would be addition by subtraction. The Heisman picks. The only guy I know for sure of. Oh, wait, no, 2 guys. Hurts and Fields, right? Ohio State Buckeyes quarterback Fields. And then Oklahoma has Hurts now. He was at Alabama, but he transferred because of Tua Tagovailoa. He's probably the other Heisman candidate. I couldn't tell you anything really about running backs or defensive players. But Heisman Trophy candidate-wise, if that's what you were looking for, Joshua, that's what it would be. I'm going to answer these people to tell them where they can find us. And if I were to just do it with voice texting, that would have been easier. But if I do it real fast while I'm still talking, and if you give me anything to work with in the live chat, then we could just make that happen. But Heisman talk. I mean, we're halfway through the NCAA season. It's kind of crap you people like to do, you sports fans. Just talk about whatever crosses your mind when you feel like talking about it. So chime in, help me out. You know, now's the time. Like Azuna. Kid was playing outfield for the Cardinals. I like the kid. He put up good numbers. But out of the doghouse. I don't even know what that means, Pastor. What does that even mean? Well, anyway. All these people had stupid things to say. But I've caught up on my text messages. Exciting. All right. Cleveland Indians, I suppose, what they're going to look at in the offseason, Joshua? Is that what you want to know? Yeah, it'd be nice if they added a bat. I guess it's kind of what they need. But is it that Puig's gone? It's the reason why you can't really do much right now with the season still going on, because you don't know what is going to happen. I mean, we know certain things. What we know about the Twins. Most of those guys signed 2-year deals, and they'll be there next year. Will they have the same seasons they had this year? I find it highly unlikely. I don't think the Twins will win the division again next year. That's me. That's where I'm at with Major League Baseball in the offseason. I don't know what's going to happen. All we know is Kipnis most likely will not be back. He didn't have his option picked up. If he signs anywhere, I figure it'll be with the White Sox or Cubs. Little 2-year, $12 million deal. Get him $6 million a year because they'll take a chance on him. White Sox might even make him their starting second baseman because he's from Chicago and people love doing those little things on the back end of players' careers. In regards to us re-signing him, I don't think they'd give him $6 million a year. It's the reason why you probably won't re-sign Puig. He might be looking at 8, 10, 12 million a year. I don't know. You don't know until the process starts. So once you get an idea of guys starting to sign places, I mean, Donaldson signed a 1-year, $23 million deal with the Braves last season. It got them to the playoffs. It got them out after the first round, bounced by the Cardinals. Only for the Cardinals to get swept by the Nationals. Nationals pitching. That's especially the first 2 games. I didn't see the final score in the third game, and of course 7-4 in the last game. And I figure Strasburg must have pitched awfully well in the third game. How nice is that? You can go into a playoff series, and you have one of the best pitchers in baseball, Steven Strasburg. And the kid can pitch the third game because you also have Max Scherzer, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. And then the dude who pitched the first game, don't even remember his name. No, he's a damn fine pitcher because he had a no-hitter going through 7 2/3 innings. But we're in the season with the most home runs ever hit in Major League Baseball. What's winning the ball games right now? What got that team to the World Series? Pitching. That's awesome. So I think that's what you'll see in this Astros-Yankees series. I had the Yankees winning it, mostly because the Yankees haven't been to a World Series in a while, and we know how major sports are, and I'm sure it's got to be about time that the Yankees make it to a World Series because they're New York, the Yankees. But the Astros have the better pitching. Astros might pull this thing off. They split in Houston, but they've won one in New York, pulled off a victory in New York. So the series is right back into the Astros' hands. They're in charge of their own destiny. Yankees could win these next 2. They still have to win one more in Houston. So that's where that stands with Major League Baseball. I don't know. Dad's coming back over. So I'm not entirely sure if it's all said and done that I could guarantee either the Astros or Yankees coming into the World Series.
Who you got winning it?
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, that I don't know because I don't even know which team's better anymore, the Astros or Yankees. And now the Nationals, as good as it is that they swept, I'm not going to say they've done themselves a disservice, but now they might not play for another week or however long it is.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Who do I think is going
in the series?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't even know who's going to win the ALCS.
Yeah.
And because of that, I can't give you a definitive on if the Nationals will win it all. Honestly, I think the Astros pair better against the Nationals because the Astros have the pitching.
Yeah.
But if the Yankees make it to the World Series and they really just clobber the Nationals in 2 or 3 games, the Nationals very well may have the most complete lineup in the National League as well. It's how they were able to win as many games as they did. They had the same record as the Cleveland Indians, if I remember correctly, too, 93-69. Nothing to sneeze at. And they did it with, as exceptional as their pitching is, with kind of an American League style offense. They have 2 very good offensive catchers, even Kurt Suzuki, who got hurt during the NLCS. So Yan Gomes, former Cleveland Indian, came in, and a guy that they can call off the bench, another former Cleveland Indian, Asdrubal Cabrera. That should take you pretty far back there too. He was playing in the late 00s, the aughts.
You ready to talk about the Browns yet?
Well, I mean, we started the show with that, and I'm always glad to come back around to it. So whatever questions you have for me regarding Browns or any other statements, I will gladly take them.
Well, I just want to know your thoughts on the team at this point in time.
They're actually slightly ahead of where I thought they would be. I figured they'd be 2-4. Maybe at best they'd be 3-3. And then there's all the stuff beyond record that you look at. They've run the ball very well. I think that goes without saying. Nick Chubb is one of the best running backs in the NFL. All right, so we go past there. I had Baker Mayfield predicted him to throw over 20 interceptions this season. He's at 11. So he's on pace to do what I thought he would do. I honestly thought he'd have a few more touchdown passes, and that's where he's been somewhat disappointing. You have all these guys to throw the ball to, and you're not getting it in their hands. Or sometimes it bounces off their hands into other guys' hands. That's happened too. So that's on the offensive side. The line's been better than I thought. Better than mediocre on pass coverage, which was their weakness. And obviously they must be run blocking pretty well if Nick Chubb can do what he's doing.
Right.
Then you flip over to the defense. D-line, slightly underwhelming. Linebackers, slightly more so underwhelming because they don't have the depth there that they need to do to run this defense. But the secondary's been exceptional. Secondary's been very good. I would have figured the secondary to have more interceptions at this point. I really thought that the defense would play better than the offense. And to this point, they almost have. Quite frankly, they probably have. The defense has been better than the offense. And they're sitting at 2-4, which is what I figured. And the reason why I'm saying they're slightly better than I thought they would be is they've lost 2 games poorly. They've lost 2 close games, and they've won 2 games. And the 2 games they won, well, they beat up that other team. They won those games.
Well, all I know is the little that I watched of them so far this season. They look like a 500 ball club.
Yeah, and they very well may finish 8-8.
If they do better than that, that's fine. That's more than I would expect. But at this point, that's what I see. There's too many holes in the team as a whole.
Right.
It's half coaching and half execution.
Freddie Kitchens and his coordinators and his assistants, he's made bad in-game decisions. The kind of things that it's why when I see the fire Kitchens stuff, I just laugh about it because, I mean, mind you, we're still so early in,
right.
But it's the same reasons why the morons who claim that they're fans in this town want Francona fired. Oh, he made this pitching change. But you're only complaining because it didn't work.
Right.
What about the 4 other times where it did work and you had nothing to complain about?
The only reason I say it's half coaching is because when you see as much disarray as occurs in the red zone, that's more of a coaching problem. He's not able to rein in his players and get them focused enough when they get in the red zone. Once they got short yardage and they got to get the goal, they fall apart. I mean, you can literally see their heads spinning like they're afraid.
The Browns don't know what to do in short yardage situations.
Right.
The red zone is where you see that often, and we have thus far in the season. 6 games in, and the Browns they're still scoring field goals instead of touchdowns. They're turning the ball over instead of scoring at all.
Right.
Those are problems. Those are big problems that you better fix here at the bye week, and that if you do not fix, you will be 8-8 or worse.
So it's not just play calling; it's more about discipline.
Yeah,
and that's something that coaching, although it won't cure it all, it'll help a lot.
Yeah,
and that's where Freddie Kitchens has to step it up and get his staff behind him and get these guys to don't be afraid in the end zone. Play like football players.
Well, right. Get in the end zone.
Right. Get it in.
And
so
Hey, Jake. Should the Red Sox fire Cora? Is Cora the guy who's the manager there now?
That's nothing for me.
All right.
Exit.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play this here. Let y'all know we got traffic and weather. Play the stupid thing. You just gotta play the song. Want to thank Jake Underwood for chiming in. He's giving us a listen. I'd promote something for him, but I know I'd never see money from him. So I don't know what he's promoting. It's a shout out for him. He does stuff. Cubs fired the guy who won them a World Series. Yeah, but was that the right move to fire the guy who won you a World Series? You should still be managing your team for 3 to 5 more years. And I don't know, probably give you a better chance to win another World Series than anybody else will in the next 3 to 5 years. Who's going to come in and coach the Chicago Cubs there? And their manager? Who's going to be the new Chicago Cubs manager? Riddle me that, fat man. I shouldn't call you fat. Slimmer than I am. We're both better linebackers than Sherbert. We don't know that for sure. No, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Traffic, everything is fine here on Henninger Road. And weather. Here at the Warren Brothers Traffic and Weather Center. Weather, it's currently 51 degrees, cloudy here in Old Brooklyn. Expect a high of 54. And I can guarantee you that after the sun sets, it'll be dark. Over here at the Old Brooklyn News Desk. No, but the guy who went from World Series to not even making the playoffs. Well, I mean, that is what happened in Chicago. Guy went to that World Series, didn't make the playoffs. Sandy Alomar Jr., is he going to be your manager here in Cleveland? We'll just do that. See, I can't say it because it's not the truth. Because I don't want Sandy to be set up to fail. You better make sure that you've got the pieces in place that if Sandy comes in and they go 72-90 for 3 straight seasons, I mean, could you imagine that? That make it feel better? Be all mad about, the current stuff that's happening now. As much as I hope Sandy Alomar Jr. is the heir apparent and that Tito will just leave on his own terms when it's time for that to happen in the next 2 to 3 years. The song's for you. I love it's gay time. Speaking of which, in the news, don't worry, the prospects we get from the Lindor trade, Sandy will be good. Shut your fat face, Jake. I don't know why I keep calling you fat. You're thinner than I am. You had that the keto diet. That's not an advertisement for it. But Jake lost like 70-some pounds on that. Shit. I mean that. Like literally, that's how he lost all the weight. You eat all that meat and you just poop it all out. You lose all the weight. Lesbian divorce attorney. I didn't get that the show wasn't lesbian divorce attorney. It was lesbian divorce attorney. So it stars a guy. Intriguing show. The defendant won half of the plaintiff's stuff. Of course, the plaintiff then got half of the defendant's stuff, and because they're both wives. Kent State fireworks discrimination. It was a Temple, Maine scrimmage game that ended in a 0-0 tie after 1 overtime. Temple, Maine, field hockey, women's, and that's where the uproar is. Because obviously it's sex discrimination. Not because it was a 0-0 field hockey game, but a scrimmage on top of it between 2 teams that have no affiliation with Kent State. Like they're just traveling through, playing a game. That was in a 0-0 tie after an overtime. Yeah, fireworks are more important than that, regardless of gender, species, race, age, anything. You had a bunch of 8-year-old puppies running back and forth, and it was a tie. Men's games. It was a scrimmage on top of it. They stopped an NFL game. Not that they stopped the game. They stopped airing it, though. The game was still played. So I guess this analogy doesn't entirely work. They aired Heidi instead of the AFC Championship game. We're going to put this at that level? It's a damn scrimmage. Cool your jets. And lastly, there have been numerous break-ins at Avon Lake area grocery stores over the weekend. Now, if you're familiar with the Avon Lake area, that's near where the Chrysler LeBaron convertible that Bill Cosby and Jerry Sandusky flew into Lake Erie off of a high ledge. I think it is. I don't remember. I don't have my notes from back when I killed them off earlier. But the only items being stolen from all of these grocery stores in these break-ins have been pudding cups and Tiger Beat magazines. That's right. Well, thanks to Jake Underwood, I'm just going to get all mad about the Tito thing, because as you're pointing to watch the Cubs make it to the World Series next year, so it's all a moot point. No, they won't make it for 3 more years when they sign Lindor. So who knows? I hate this. I'm doing it. This same crap Josh likes to do, and Jake. If Dave followed sports at all, he'd do it. Paul just says that they suck, and I'll get roped in. I'll talk a little bit about part of it. What's the other song that I play? Oh, that's the one. I was staring right at it. I didn't realize that was it. All right. The Indians, and it's funny because I've been saying this for several months now, but I'm nobody. Nobody knows me. It doesn't matter. Which jerk at the station between 92.2 and 92.4 was wrote an article I saw all throughout the Twitters, and the fact of the matter is he was saying that the tribe does seem geared up for re-signing Lindor. Resigning. I still think it's out there. Now this guy had this whole article about it being is it that right or wrong guy, and he's usually wrong until he says something that I like, and I'm like, oh, maybe you got this one right. And I think it's the other jerk that's over there. I don't remember. I don't know either of them well enough. And so that being said, decent article saying a lot of the same things I was saying, which is why he must be right because I'm smart. And that went long. Oh, that's because the other one went long. Well, anyway, 5-year, $180 million deal. And I was saying 5-year, $175 million because that breaks down to 25 million, something. So with his math, I liked it kind of more because it was like 185 million over 5 years. It's 32.5 million or 32 million or whatever it was, and it's right up there with the Arenado and Trout deals and all that stuff. And it's plausible. I believe it. I like it in the 2020-2021 offseason. Maybe even approach it this offseason. Josh talking about offseason moves. Tribe going to get some outfielder from St. Louis. Your chance. Lindor, 16 million arbitration, then 20. If you do it in the year before he gets to 20 million arbitration, sure, you're paying him 10 mil more than you would have planned on it, but you got him, and for the 5 more years. And he's only 32 or something when that deal ends. That all makes sense to me. I would think it would make sense to you, but like Jake, do you still really want the trade? And I'm tired of this. And I like that you put it in air quotes, prospects. You got no reason to worry. We'll get prospects. I mean, I know everybody just loves Framil Reyes. Buddy Anton was going on about the human windmill. That guy's going to strike out a lot in his career. I'm a fan. You should still probably bat 6th in your lineup if you really set stuff up right. 7th. It's all these righties. Like I complained for years about all the left-handed bats in the lineup. Chisenhall, Kipnis, Brantley. Break it up with a couple of switch hitters, a righty in there. Now I finally go. I mean, Puig won't be part of this next year. Reyes will probably be your right fielder. Be interested to see it. Or he's still your DH. And that's where you got Zimmer, Naquin, Allen. Naquin your right fielder at this point. And that's the hope that Mercado doesn't slump. I mean, he's your starting center fielder right now going into it. What if he's batting .220 at the end of April And everybody, oh, this kid wasn't all he's cracked up to be. I don't know anything about baseball, even though he's going 2 for 9 basically over the first 20 games. Oh, Lindor's going to get traded either way. Wait, what do you mean either way? What were my 2 options that I gave you? Because leaving in free agency isn't being traded. I really do think that there's a very good possibility that he leaves in free agency. I think the Indians make that mistake. They'll do it. He'll be playing just fine enough in 2021 because he'll turn down the offer. You know, you can't deal him in that offseason. Watch 2021 be the best year we've had. Like, hands down. Like, outside of the, like, you'll only win 101 games instead of 102, but you'll win the division by 30 games because the Twins will be a mess by then because all the guys that they got. Are you kidding you? Why? They will press the restart by then? See, you're dumb. See, I'm not doing that, Jake. There's nowhere in the plans for the Tribe to do that. They have enough guys under contract until 2024 that they're not going to hit reset. If the Indians have, I want to make sure I word this correctly. If in the next 3 years, 2020, 2021, and 2022, if in the next 3 years the Indians have a losing season, I will eat some kind of bird. That's a bit that only if you watch the old show you get. Cover it in chocolate syrup. You can make the parameters of it, the bird thing, whatever, because I'm assuming we'll still know each other 3 years from now. But I like you enough that I hope that we do. And, you know, you can hold me to that. If the Indians have a losing season, they will want to contend by 2022 when they trade Lindor this offseason. Not this offseason. Screw you, Jake. That's just dumb. I mean, I know you well enough to know that you're just saying things to say things, kind of, and then still try to convince me that no, you mean it seriously. No, they're not going to do the rebuild stuff that they used to do and that so many other franchises do. You think they're going to do what the Tigers have done? Yeah, I'm shocked. See, I don't like when we use certain words like that. I would not be shocked if it happened, but I'd be surprised. I don't see the Indians trading Lindor this offseason. Even next offseason, I don't see it. And then they'll screw themselves up by playing really well in 2021 so that they can't trade him at that deadline. They traded Bauer early. Technically, they got a very good deal for Bauer. At the same time, though, there were 4. This is exactly what we're going into with the Lindor thing. You have 4 opportunities to trade to trade Lindor now because you had 4 opportunities to trade Bauer and you traded him at the second opportunity. Before the 2019 season, at the 2019 deadline, before the 2020 season, at the 2020 deadline. Those were the 4 times you could have traded Bauer. You got what would have been the best deal for him at that second opportunity. Let's see. Would you rather be the Braves of the 90s or the Royals a few years ago? But no, those are different things. Those both of those, and they're different from the third. Although, I mean, like, what was the biggest name that the Braves traded in that time? I mean, was it when they dealt Justice and Grissom? And they got Lofton, so that covered that. I forget. Were they sticking Klesko or that other schmuck in the outfield? And then the Royals thing was they sold out completely for that. I mean, the Twins basically took what the Royals did. No, they did it even weirder. The Twins went and got rid of a bunch of young pieces. The Royals thing is a different thing. These are all different things. But I wouldn't rather be either one of those two. The Indians are doing a different thing. Every single one of these are different for whatever similarities you can find. The hell was my point? Oh, so Lindor. You now have 4 chances to trade him. If that's the route you go. Now, during this offseason, not going to do it. During the season at the trade deadline, only if you're like 10 or 20 games under 500 and you get a monumental deal for those rainbow fairy unicorn magical prospects that everybody keeps talking about that don't exist. Or what are your other 2 options before the 2021 season, which I really would not want to see. They better not do it. And I just don't think it's going to happen. And you'll be playing well enough halfway through that 2021 season because everything will be clicking. You just watch. That's what will happen. And I think they'll offer him the deal going into the 2021 season. I mean, do you want to talk the economics of it at all or anything? I mean, you can't just kind of make, I mean, if you want to make base statements and just live in the world of causing fear, then, go ahead. You should have been at the Democratic debates last night. And I know you better than that. You hate that stuff. I don't care. That's what I do. I'm going to claim it's an e-cig, which I guess are worse now for you at that point. Big tobaccos like that. Let's see. You can't trust it. You can't trust the Indians. Do you still have your Brown season tickets, Jake? Because, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not thrilled with everything the Dolans have done. That's the way I'll put it. I'll put it that way. But being a baseball fan, so if Dorsey winds up leaving the franchise in a year or two, you no longer have your Brown season tickets, Jake? I think our front offense has consistently been one of the better run front offices in Major League Baseball in the last 25 or so years. 30 years. In the last 30 years. That's a hell of an accomplishment. People want to talk about consistency in Major League Baseball. You've had winning records almost half, more than half of the seasons you've played since before you were alive, Jake. Let's take it from the year you were born. In the 28 years of your life, the Cleveland Indians have had winning seasons in more than half of those years. I think only the Yankees trump that. 19 straight seasons of winning seasons, some nonsense like that. The small market thing, that's just as much perpetuated by it's a media market, if you really want to get into stuff. I mean, you want to talk more economics? If your revenue is $280 million, you spend $120 million on payroll, what percentage is that? Hey, if your revenue is $650 million and you spend $200 million on payroll, what percentage is that? Who just spent a higher percentage of their revenue, of their end game money, what they have to spend on the team, on payroll, on ball player payroll? Not the Yankees, which was the $650 million in revenue and paid $200 million in payroll. The Indians, who made $280 million, spent $120 million on payroll. That's not even a small market. That's not, people not going to games. How much of that, what do the TV ratings have to do with them spending the money? Are they getting every dime of the TV ratings money? That's their personal station. It's slightly different than what they do in New York. The Yes Network is owned by the Yankees. Do the Indians own any of those networks that they're on? Sports Time Ohio? I don't think that's right, Jake. Think one out. You need to put a cartridge in. That's right. I smoke organic electronic cigarettes. That's right. Thanks, Dad. Organic e-cigarettes. All I know with all this Indians talk, let's see, they sold STO and used it to renovate the stadium, which aren't all things that I necessarily like. You took out seats and then complain about how people don't have anywhere to sit because what you thought was you were going to attract more people to come to games by taking out seats to put in crap that they don't want to come to the game to do. The corner alley bar and like kids stuff. I'm with you on that one. But they sold STO anyway. So the ratings don't have anything to do with the thing they don't own anymore. The exact numbers and what the revenue is. Don't use your straw men. I know you. Straw men arguments. Anyway, I want to remind everybody, this is WBBN. Not every you know what? Just stop with that. How about all the revenue you're sharing from the NFL? I mean, are we going to do that? Do we need to do that? I mean, the one thing you don't like that I don't agree with you. At least it gave me content for a segment. And probably the last segment too. Wait, this is going. The main thing to talk about. Here at WBBN, the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network, the views and opinions of this program don't express those of ownership, which is also me, because ownership is vehemently against cronyism and nepotism. Just ask all of my friends who are chiming in on the live chat and calling in, and my family members who call in and are on the show. They know how against cronyism and nepotism I am. Hey there. Traffic. Oh, I'm not playing the damn song. So it's quiet. Gotta play the song. So when you play the song during the stuff, I can read things. Like Jake talking about, the salary cap makes it so that Odell can be a Brown. Elaborate on that one so I know what you're talking about. I don't totally get that one. Tell me what that one means. Traffic and weather coming to you from the Warren Brothers Traffic and Weather Center. Traffic, everything's fine here on Henninger Road. And of course, weather-wise, it's currently 51 degrees, cloudy in Old Brooklyn, high of 54 later, and after that, when the sun goes down, it'll be dark outside. Coming from the Old Brooklyn News Desk, make sure you tune into the controversial news show that you can stream anytime, anywhere on your streaming devices. Lesbian divorce attorney, not lesbian divorce attorney. In fact, the star of the show is a man. Totally got me. He goes and he's a divorce attorney when lesbian marriages go awry. Kent State, according to the Washington Post, fireworks, sexual discrimination, Temple Maine scrimmage game, a scrimmage that was tied at 0 after an overtime. Hey, it's a phone call. Got so many things going on here, it's interrupting news. So anyway, let me answer this. Hello, caller, you are on the air. Hey, caller, I got music playing in the background, so I can't totally hear you, but it's almost over now. All right, so caller, what's happening? Jim Jones. Jim Jones from Millionaire. Wait, we can't both talk at the same time, Jim. What do you want? It's a sports show. What are you calling about? Well, I think anybody would like to have $1 million. Is that just? Are you taking a poll or something? That's the first question? What are you doing?
I need your name, your address, your everything, including all your report cards.
Is this like your first day of doing this, Jim? You sound nowhere near prepared for this at all, Jim. Like you forgot that one thing you were going to do. I need your everything.
I need your phone number. I need your address. I need your bank card. I need your social security number.
How are you going to get my bank card? You mean my bank card number and the CVV number and expiration date? Like,
yes, all of it.
Your name is Jim Jones?
You look like Dookie. Thank you. Come again.
That bitch should last way longer than that. Like, if he's going to call and do those things and say that stuff, the preparedness put into it almost worked. Oh, these guys. My brother is the most racist anyway. So, Odell is a top 5 wide receiver in the league, and the NFL top players could go to, small markets and still get a top contract. That cannot happen in the MLB. Well, are you agreeing with that statement or saying that's not true? Because you said the small market thing, but now it sounds like you're making a case for the small markets. if that is in fact what it is. I've obviously given up on weather, traffic, news, commercials, anything. Dave chimed in there. This is not a sports show. Har, har, har. Well, yeah, and it's so I don't know because Jake's making both points very well, but it's the gotta go to the spending money. They're not always spending the money in. Not even gonna say it's not the best way. The $10 million that they put towards doing stuff in the Dominican countries and all of those other things. I think that's brilliant. Every team should do that. That's $10 million. It's not going to payroll that. But however many players you wind up getting, you wind up paying $10 million over their course of time there. The Indians starting rotation had 5 guys once the major injuries to Kluber and Carrasco went down, and Bauer was traded. The rest of the guys were all paid $500,000 each, and were better pitchers and a better pitching staff than most of the rest of the league. Don't go to the spending money thing if it's about spending it wisely or not. They spent money, some of it foolishly. Like I was saying about the stadium. That's dumb. Why put in a bar? Sure, it's great they gave to the Dominican, but when the East Side isn't a shithole, you can give money to a different country. Give it to your own city. They built that one field over there that got demolished. See, Anton should be on here too. You guys could just yell at each other in the live chat, even though you both agree. Yeah, that was Anton's brother-in-law anyway who was saying that. So ultimately, with whatever you do, regardless, see, you're just going to complain, Jake. It's not the Indians' job to care about what happens on the east side of Cleveland anyway. That's what we got a mayor for. A mayor whose grandchildren and nephews run amok all over town, gets brought up during the State of the City address. Oh, don't worry about that. That's my family. That's my family. That's in-house. You worry about your family. I'll worry about mine. I love my family like you love yours. Then stick a foot up their ass. Yeah, a lot of family members who are just taking advantage of the fact that their grandfather or uncle is the mayor of Cleveland. Not really a good way to be. I'm not gonna get political. That's how I got fired from the other gig. I was political. Said Tom Brady was a racist. People misunderstood. Oh well. You see, because AB, Antonio Brown, and moved it in anyway. Not doing that. Figure out what song to end with when I get to that point. I forget which one of these sounds harder. Because I want to end with a hard song today. And go metal. As opposed to the friendly, nice stuff that I tend to calm, quiet things. I can't stand you. Jerks. Paul. Jake. Give them $1 million. Like, he had the whole thing prepared. And it sounds like he doesn't have a clue. Give me your everything. Yeah, I'll pull down my pants and I'll give you my everything. In your ear. That doesn't even make sense. This guy almost did as good a job as Paul did. Whatever his name is. See, now everybody stop talking on the live chat. The final segment of the show, which as we did at the other station, would just last as long as we wanted. Another reason why I probably got canned. I was acting like I was the boss there. Spent way too much time talking Indian stuff here. Especially because you can't make those parallels with the NFL and Major League Baseball. Salary cap versus, I mean, did you not care that the Cleveland Browns were $120 million under salary cap and then $90 million under salary cap in successive seasons? Like, you have the salary cap just to do that? But then whereas we have the Cavaliers owner will exceed the salary cap, which is roughly just a few $1 million less than the NFL's. But we're mad because the Dolans didn't give enough money to local charities. I did not like that they did have this local charity thing, and they kept going on and on about it during a Friday night game broadcast. Like, if that's your advertising for it, there's better ways to do that, in my opinion. Because they kept giving you updates every single inning of how much they had gotten, and they were made sure that the guy who kicked the whole thing off, who gave the big sum of money to start the thing, was a particular business owner, and that they said every single end, the guy, and he owns this business, and he gave us this money. So is that why he gave you the money? Is that how everybody's just going to go get his services provided? What? I said what I said. Barely talked Cavs. Really nothing to talk about there. Their season doesn't kick off for another week. Down in Orlando, October 23rd. I don't know. Whatever you guys feel like talking about with that. Because I don't. Because they're going to suck. And apparently all anybody wants to talk about is if they'll trade Kevin Love or not. That's the only thing that happens there. Talking about potential trades is not sports. I want to talk about Sexton will develop this year. If Garland's going to be good. That other guy whose name I don't remember. And the white kid that we drafted late in the first round. And if maybe we should have signed a free agent. There's so many available. So, that dude who was with Phoenix the last couple years. But no. Let's just talk about trading Kevin Love. That's the thing. Spend hours on stupid programming talking about that. The thing that doesn't matter. Just want to see him in the playoffs. I don't care if it's a 6, 7, or 8 seed. It's just what I want. Good enough team to do it. Probably not. No. What else we got? Done with the baseball stuff. That wasn't even baseball stuff. It's the other stuff around the baseball stuff. Gonna wind up talking to Dad for hours about this afterwards. She's gonna be aggravated because Jake just felt like talking out of both sides of his ass. What else? Even though I did agree with some of your points, Jake. Some, not the really stupid ones. NFL, Cleveland Browns. Just got to say, Paul Warren was right. The Seahawks scored 32 points. Paul Warren got half of a prediction correct. He said the Browns would score 0. But he did get the Seahawks part right. 32. I was closer on the Browns, saying they'd have 31. They wound up with 28. So I got the amount of touchdowns correct. 4 touchdowns. However, I also said that the Seahawks would only score 17. Got that wrong. Man, was I wrong. Couldn't say all I wanted to say due to typing and a character limit. That's fair enough. Go Browns, go Cavs. And throw the go Indians in there. You're a jackass. Let's see. No, I don't know. Browns wise, get healthy. It's what the bye week's for. If you make a deal, good, fine. You're not going to see that Redskins lineman come here. That's not going to happen. It's just not. Watch it happen. As soon as I say it's not going to. No hockey talk again. Sorry for all you hockey fans out there and wrestling fans. Paul wasn't here. That's what he brings to the show. He uses voices and he talks about very random things. The uniforms the teams wear or whatever else. Technically, I got 4 minutes left. I'm trying to figure out a way to wrap up the endings. I can no longer put a bow on the show. That was the old bit. It's all I ever hear that other shows do. I'm not going to wrap all with traffic, weather, and news and commercials because there's no need to. What's the point? Wait, you didn't? Oh, because they aren't playing. That makes sense. So it doesn't matter. Cleveland Browns wise, let's wrap it up with Browns talk, because that's where we're at right now. Ohio State doesn't play for a couple more days against Northwestern, a 7:30 Friday night game, which is another reason why I miss having, people who do stuff. Sometimes they're around and they do things, and at least they used to at the other place sometimes. Dave was pretty good at that. Associate producer Dave was a pretty good associate producer. And that what he'd be able to do is that he'd research stuff for me. I mean, Ohio State Buckeyes, I don't remember the last time they've played a Friday game. I don't even think I was a young man in the 80s and early 90s. I don't even recall us doing that then. I was nowhere near as big a sports fan than I am now. I was a smaller sports fan. I was a little guy. Not as big then, too. I was a fat kid. Jake could tell you. He was a fat kid. Anyway. It's about as tall as Dave when I was like 8. It's a tall kid, eventually. Dave's a short man. No knock on you there, Dave. Become a good buddy. Like, seriously, I was really tall. You and Paul need to watch AEW tonight on TNT. Good wrestling. Jake's grammar is actually very good when he speaks. When he types, it sucks. I don't know if he's trying to do a bit there, but I'm going to go with the fact, say that he's trying to do a bit there. I don't know that. Make Paul watch the wrestling. He's big on the wrestling. I don't even know who's where anymore. The SmackDown thing, that's Fridays, right? I'm not. I just can't type on my phone. Remember, you used to sell phones. Not cell phones, cell phones. You were a seller of phones. Not a seller of rats. Is SmackDown that bad? It's the only one that's on free TV. I'm not about to get cable so I can watch wrestling. I didn't get cable to watch baseball, and I like baseball. I can't type on phones. You should have bought, I don't know, the best phone to type on. Guy who sold phones for a living. Sorry for being a jerk, Jake. Let's see. Not where in the process of selling phones do you need to type on phones, LOL. How? But what I'm saying is, you're a phone salesman. You're like, hey, you know what? This one's real easy to text on. Garble, gurgle, globble, glop. Oh, darn it. Well, I mean, not me. You could. Not me, though. I'm not good at typing on phones. Should be a phone so good that even an idiot like you who can't type well on phones can type well on phones. You're not an idiot. I agree with you on the touchscreen thing. Why do you think I used the phone? As you and I talked about this even. You're like, I want that back. Can we get the Quarksy, whatever they call it? It's basically whatever they used to call the thing. Not Android. The hell was it? You sold phones. They called them the thing that they called them. Blackberries. Those kinds of things. So you would just sell them flip phones too. You're like, just use that. Screw you. Why was that all caps? Why are you yelling at me? Was I yelling? I was yelling. I'm sure I was. I don't want to overmodulate. I think I've overmodulated this whole time. I even turned my mic down. You know what? I got the other mic still on, so that's probably screwing stuff up. Forgot to hit mute. It's the thing I do. That goes back to me being terrible at running board. Yeah. I like using the jargon. Like some of you actually know because you did stuff related to this field and were at the school or you got into it and things like that. But you have a flip phone and a tablet. I use a tablet for stuff. That way you can get extra commission for the new activation. Oh, I see what you're doing. That's I got my tablet for free. I get stuff for very cheap or free and I make it work. That's why the grainy technology is still kind of, I got to go get a camera. I claimed I was going to do that. I didn't. So I want to get 2 cameras. I got one for the usage all the time, the television show programming coming to WBBN, Warner Brothers Broadcasting Network. Less money per month on a smartphone. Yeah, the smartphones are ridiculously expensive. I used to date a woman who would get the new phone. She's going to be paying on these damn phones well after her death. Most of you are just going to tragically die young because of cocaine and alcohol abuse. No, that's not nice. Wouldn't be a tragedy. Anyway, well, she's one of my 5 viewers now. No. So, well, that being said, conversation really went nowhere. Talking about Browns. Nobody really commented on whether they think. Yeah, she was. Probably still is. You've probably met her. But you didn't know. Anyway, thanks, Jake. That's a good friend. You know what a good friend will do? They'll say, yeah, I never met her, but she's a whore. That slut. All caps again. Why are you shouting slut? Like, is anybody concerned? Hey, Todd. 1959 was the last time the Buckeyes played a Friday night game. I was going to say the 60s, but I didn't want to sound like an idiot. Todd Shapiro, thank you for chiming in, helping out, helping the program. And that's a guy who knows his stuff. He's a reporter. Check out his stuff. Follow him on the Twitter. Follow all these guys on the Twitters. I can't tell you what their Twitters are because I don't know. I know mine, Mark Warren, 216. So at me. You know, all these people already have it. I'm not telling anybody who doesn't already know. Jake Underwood, 92. There's his Twitter. You want to follow that guy? He's got good content. Todd's a writer out of Far West Side. You find his stuff in various newspapers. There's still print media out there in those suburbs, like Avon Lake, where all those grocery stores have been broken into, and all those pudding cups and Tiger Beat magazines have been stolen. No one gets the Tiger Beat thing. Like, seriously, I'm sounding like I'm 50. Like, that's a Norm Macdonald joke if ever I heard one. Illyria is out where Todd is stationed. Keep stealing Tiger Beat magazines. Kind of thinking, it doesn't matter. Anyone alarmed that Baker Mayfield's got a little hip flexor, walking a little wobbly? Everybody think he's not going to make the next start in New England? I think he will. I haven't heard anything to the contrary. All sorts of people were making a big deal out of Dorsey having a press conference today. I figured all it was to tell you that Corbett got traded. Only Corbett I ever knew was the guy who used to be on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Yeah, Dave even says Baker will be fine. Baker will get that start. Baker will be good. I don't know. I actually had people talk to me. So I'm going to play this music to tell you that that's about the end of it. Although now I'm realizing I shouldn't have played the angry music if I was going to talk over it, because then it seems like it's all just anger at the end. But it's pumped up for tomorrow's show, Thursday. We talk more Major League Baseball, League Championship Series. Pumped up. And whatever else is happening in the world of football. Not that I'm necessarily going to preview to Thursday night's game. I don't even know who's playing. As I was making complaints last week about how I don't know how I feel about there being football literally every day of the week. I should have said literally, because that means literally. The only days you don't have football. Rage! Way to go, Dave. Some headbanging music for you guys. I've got a lot of white friends. This because I'm white. This is what white people listen to. Hopefully you like it. Josh, the one Puerto Rican guy I know. Is what you're into? No. He won't even answer. Probably taking a nap. The ganj. Ate a bunch of food, fell asleep. Of course you don't listen to this, Dave. Well, it's supposed to be the outro music, so I should outro. Been watching the Warren Brothers sports show without Paul Warren, because he was out on assignment. I've been Mark Warren, the host, here on Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network, the Warren Brothers Sports Show. Be sure to tune in to us tomorrow on the YouTube, live at noon, and reruns any and every time, all the time, like a 24-hour-a-day thing. But yeah, check us out, Warren Brothers Sports Show, here on the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network for Carmen Warren, Paul Warren, Dave Hughes, Jake Underwood, Joshua Rivera, Todd Shapiro, Jim Jones, the Arabic fellow who called me trying to sell me $1 million. I don't know. What was that all about? Something happened. I've been Mark Ward, and until next time, this time has been the most recent. Thank you. Oh, the music's still going, though. I could have that up.